So for this checkpoint, as usual, there are going to be 4 parts. Our first part is that we're going to make the definition list on practice.html. We're going to make it link to our other checkpoint pages using relative addresses. For part 2, we're going to make the musician names on check 2 link to websites related to them. And for part 3, we're going to make a new page named check3.html, and we're going to put a picture on it. And then, as usual, we'll submit our work. So for part 1, we're going to go back to our practice.html page. Last week we made a definition list. This week we're going to make it so checkpoint number 2, checkpoint number 3, and checkpoint number 4 will link to check2.html, check3.html, and check4.html. Now you might realize check 3 and check 4 don't actually exist right now. You will need to make them. And you'll just make them as you've made every other page so far. These should be relative addresses because all of your pages are in the same folder, and when you're finished it could look something like this. Your colors don't have to match, but this is a link, this is a link, and this is a link. It'll go A, href equals check 2, href equals check 3, href equals check 4. In part 2, last week we made a page named check2.html and we put a table of our favorite music on it. And this week we're going to go back to it and we're going to make the names of our favorite musicians link to a website related to them. This could be the musician's homepage, it could be a Wikipedia page, it could be a YouTube page. Just Google the name of the musician and see what comes up. And we'll just make it so that each name links to that page. Now these are going to have to be absolute addresses because there's no possible way you could save their page as a local one. For part 3, you're going to create a new page named check3.html if you haven't already for part 1. And all you're going to put on it is a picture. We don't care what the picture is. Just remember that if you're using a relative address, you're going to need to also upload the picture as well as the page. If you would rather use an absolute address, that is fine. If you are using a relative address, also be mindful of your file size. If you were to just take a picture off of your phone, the file size will be very large and it'll use up all of your space at once. There's an FAQ page here on how to reduce image size if that's what you want to do. But again, we don't care what you use, just have a picture on the page. Part 4, remember you're uploading each of the pages that you worked on. That will be your practice.html, your check2.html, check3.html, and possibly a relative picture. And that's the checkpoint.